Hi, I'm Jeff Brazil from the University of Arkansas. In this recorded webinar, you will hear Dr. Dennis Beck from the College of Education and Health Professions to talk about the Master of Education in Educational Technology. Great stuff. And remember, go Hogs.
This is the Master of Education in Educational Technology here at the University of Arkansas Online. This is from the Department of Curriculum and Instruction in the College of Education and Health Professions. And today we have a special guest, Dr. Dennis Beck, who's an associate professor in the program, as well as the Educational Technologies Program Coordinator. Dr. Beck, would you like to maybe speak for a second on some of your experience and just introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Dennis Beck. I got my doctorate mid-career, so it wasn't really for getting PhD behind my name. It was more because I wanted to teach in higher ed, and that's what I've been doing for the last, since 2008. However that adds up to. And before that, I was an instructional designer and a computer programmer for a large nonprofit organization out of Florida. But all of that kind of helped. I was also a trainer, so all that kind of helped lead me. My work experiences helped lead me to this area called educational technology, which isn't just pure training and teaching, and it isn't just pure computers and technology. It's the mix. It's the synthesis of the two. So that's a little bit about me. Also, personally, I'm a father of three, youngest at 11, oldest at 22, and love backpacking and hiking. And Northwest Arkansas is wonderful for that.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, it is wonderful for that. We've got a beautiful area here in Northwest Arkansas. So I'll go over just a quick overview of the program real quick. This is a 100% online program. You don't have to set foot on campus if you don't want to. It is 31 credit hours, and that's estimated to take about a year and a half. The university does allow up to 6 years completion for this program. And then it is GRE exempt, so no entrance exam is required, and there's also no thesis required for this program. And basically what this program is it covers a wide spectrum of different types of instructional technologies to kind of prepare educators and practitioners for a variety of careers. So whether that's in primary and secondary education, higher education, business, different industries in like health professions or nonprofit sectors even, there's potential for a wide range of careers with this. You'll learn about those competencies in, like I said, instructional technologies, kind of in the design and development of web-based instruction and training. And you'll use that to create meaningful learning experiences that align with kind of different course objectives and assessments. And some of the possible positions that kind of naturally come from this program are instructional designer, training developer, distance learning coordinator, administrator for technological programs, as well as instructional technology researcher. As I said, this is an online program, so it's taught in an asynchronous format. You don't have to log in at a specific time. And it's really designed for working professionals to be able to continue in their career, but also, further their education to pursue their career goals. So I'll pause for a second and maybe let Dr. Beck kind of speak for a minute from the faculty perspective, maybe some of the courses and things like that.
Absolutely. So Will already mentioned it's 31 credits. Let me break that down for you a little bit. 22 credits are required, and then 9 credits are elective. The 22 that are required cover things like theoretical foundations as well as technology foundations, some the technical foundations. So there is a certain amount of technology that you do need to learn. You don't need to know it before you come into the program. I want to emphasize that. But you do learn both the technology side and the theoretical side of things, as well as a strong foundation in instructional design and in visual literacy. You also learn things like strategic planning, how to write grants, which is kind of a useful skill in a lot of fields, right? What are the issues and trends in our field? Because you'll be coming up against, and not against, I'm sorry, and collaborating with a lot of other people in the educational technology field. And so you'll learn about issues and trends that you can talk with them about and network about. And you also have a 1 credit e-portfolio. I think it was Will or Jeff that mentioned earlier that we don't have a traditional master's thesis. That's true. What we have is a 1 credit e-portfolio that you build actually as you go, because you'll be doing large projects that are kind of at the end of almost every course. And each one of those you'll tie to industry standards. And so you'll graduate with a beautiful website that will be both instructionally and visually sound, but also it'll be tied to industry standards, and you can use it as a tool to do things like find a job or help a colleague with integrating technology into their training or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that perspective.
Sure.
Moving on, so I'll go over the requirements real quick. So this program does require a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. You'll submit your application to the U of A's graduate school. I don't think it requires really any other materials other than your official transcripts, but that undergraduate will need a GPA of 3.0 or higher. Any GPA that's between 2.7 and 3.0 can be admitted on a probationary basis. So that's just the gist of it. Then this program does admit in spring, summer, and fall. And so the application deadlines are there. The spring, the deadline is the second week of October. In the summer, for the summer term, it's the first week of March. And for the fall term, it's the second week of June. And then, so I'll kind of go over a little bit of the benefits and what it's like being an online student. So obviously flexibility is key for online students, right? Many of our students are working professionals. I think 81% of all of our students are working full time, and about half of them, 52%, I believe, are parents. So, your professors know that, and they're willing to work with you and try to, make sure that you have the ability to take courses. Obviously, there are deadlines for your assignments and things like that, but to have some flexibility in that, and that's why we allow up to 6 years for the program. And then I'll touch on affordability here in a little bit, but also you pay in-state tuition no matter where you live. So that's a really, really great benefit to it. And then here at Global Campus, where Jeff and I work, we have dedicated staff that are here to support you and to try to get you enrolled and to stay on track and navigate life as an online student. And then a little bit about the University of Arkansas itself. So we're a top public research institution that's accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And I think that's really reflected well in the fact that our online programs consistently rank in some of the best universities in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, Forbes, and Wall Street Journal. A lot of that is owing to the dedicated faculty that we have here. So many of the same professors that are teaching on campus are the ones that you're going to interact with online. They're teaching the same courses. And this is going to help you with, your career advancement. So having the name of the University of Arkansas behind you and in that degree is such a critical thing for helping you advance your career. And there's a lot of good in the name of the University of Arkansas. So the general admissions process is you just apply on the university's graduate school website. You'll pay the application fee at that time, and you'll also submit your transcripts there. And then I encourage everybody to check their status and make sure all of the documents got uploaded and that you're good to go. And then usually in about a maximum of about 6 weeks, but sometimes anywhere from 2 to 4, you'll get a decision, and you'll have to go in and check and accept that decision. So life as an online student, we use a learning management system called Blackboard and Learn, which is sort of like your virtual classroom. You can see a picture of it there. Here you'll have all your resources, like be able to interact with your classes, check your grades, assignments, and all the due dates there. You'll also be able to collaborate with your peers here. So like with discussion boards and group projects, things like that. You'll find syllabus and all of that here. And be able to, check virtual office hours and communicate with your professors as well. And then if you run into any issues with Blackboard, we have dedicated support staff to be able to help you, figure those out and resolve any issues and make sure you get right back on track. From Global Campus, we also have dedicated staff. They are there to make sure that you get enrolled and are able to get on track. So we have the online student liaisons, and really what they're there to do is to get information, help you get information about your programs and your classes and things like that, and connect you with the right resources on campus. So if you need to figure out who your advisor is or how to contact your advisor, they can help you do that. They can also connect you with the financial aid office, the treasurer's office, those sort of things. They can remove certain holds and things like that on your account. So that QR code there takes you to their page. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. And then there are also coaches, which are kind of like your personal cheerleader. They are a dedicated staff member here in our office, which kind of, helps guide you through the process of being an online student. And, if you're maybe slipping in class a little bit, they'll reach out and kind of see if there are any resources that they can connect you with to help you get back on track. So definitely take advantage of them. And then we have an online student union as well, which is similar to an on-campus student union, where you'll be able to connect with your peers, do things like exchange study tips, and feel like a sense of community amongst online students. And then to make sure that you get started on the right foot, we have an online orientation, which kind of acts like a mock class to make sure you get familiarized with the learning management system and that you're able to upload documents, things like that. So that way you know how to do all of that before you actually get into your actual courses.
And I will say that I taught a section of the online orientation this year for the first time, and it's fabulous. It is really well done, and it does a great job of orienting you to I would just say that the uniqueness of our online learning management system. There is a small learning curve to learning the Blackboard system, and so taking that, it's in an asynchronous format, so you don't actually have to show up for any specific time or place, but you have access to essentially a Blackboard course designed to teach you how to use Blackboard. And it's usually available the week before, I think it is, classes begin. So really, really highly recommend that.
That's awesome. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah, I've also facilitated the online orientation as well, and it's really great to be able to see students go from, see their confidence build throughout that course and be able to familiarize themselves with those systems. Okay. And then, so the estimated cost of attendance for this program, as I said, this is in-state tuition no matter where you live. So it's $459.68 per credit hour. And then there's those additional fees there. And this is for fall 2025 rates, but these are the current rates as well. And then to help pay for college, we have a few different options here. So scholarships are available to you as an online student. So for our online students, we offer the W.E. Manning Memorial Scholarship, and you can apply for that, and it's about $1,000 per semester. And then if you are an Arkansas resident, you can also apply for the Academic Challenge Scholarship as well as the Future Grant. And then we encourage everybody to fill out the FAFSA. That way you can see what kind of federal grants that you qualify for, as well as the ability to take out loans if you need to do so. And then just some additional ones as well. So if you have any military service, you can use your GI Bill to help pay for online education as well. And then if maybe reach out to your employer and see if there's any tuition reimbursement that they would be willing to do. And if you have any questions, feel free to scan that QR code or go to the financial aid office website, and then can kind of give you more information about how to complete each one of those. And then one last thing that I really like to highlight is the University of Arkansas's Senior Walk. So this is something that's really unique to the University of Arkansas. If you graduate with a degree from the University of Arkansas, you have the opportunity to have your name engraved in our sidewalk. And right now it's over 250,000 graduates are engraved in the sidewalk here on our campus. And that's dating back all the way to the very first class. So it's just something that's really special to us and kind of stands as concrete proof of our commitment to our students. And that will, no matter where you are, you can still get this same benefit, this same ability to get your name engraved in that sidewalk.
I like what you did there, Will. Concrete proof. It was good.
Yes. I didn't come up with it, but it's a good one. But yeah, so this is just kind of the final information here. So if you want to reach out to College of Education Health Professions, that's their website and all of their contact information, as well as the graduate school. So if you have any questions for them, you can reach out to them, as well as all of our social media and our website for the University of Arkansas Online. So now I'll go ahead and open up for a Q&A session. So feel free to unmute and ask any questions.
Okay, if we don't have any questions right now, Dr. Beck, I know sometimes we get through some of these webinars, we get some questions of students asking about success stories in those programs. And is there a success story that you have on the top of your head that you'd like to share about someone that's been in this program?
I would actually. Yeah. She entered our program, I want to say it was about 5 years ago. And she was a STEM teacher in high school and did wonderfully. She finished the program in about 2 years, which, was a little longer than the 1.5 years that the university says it can be done in. But, give or take a semester, it's not a big deal. But she finished it, and she went back to the classroom, but she soon found that she didn't really want to be in the classroom again. And she decided she started looking, where else could I go? Well, being centered here in Northwest Arkansas, she happened to live here as well. Not every student does. She found a job for Walmart, and fast forward from there about 3 years, she's now one of the top training people in the Sam's Club organization. So she's, I would say that is a great success story, right? Equally so, another one is guy that I would actually call a friend now, not just a former student, became a student. This was probably about 7 years ago. And he finished in about 2 years. But before that, he was a teacher. And he decided he wanted more flexibility. He loved being a teacher. So he ended up working for a virtual school. And he works from home now. For the last 5 years has worked from home. And he's now head over all of the social studies for the state that he lives in. For their virtual or schooling organization for that state. And different states are organized differently virtually, but at the K-12 level. But that in itself, I think, is a great success story, because my friend Jay, we'll just call him Jay, really, when going into it, I don't think he really had an idea of where he was going to go. And neither did Cynthia, the lady I mentioned earlier. She didn't think she was going to leave. And so I don't want you thinking that, oh, this program causes people to leave teaching. No, I think really what our program does is it helps people to clarify what their strengths are in the educational technology field, and then they find the best fit for themselves after that. So.
Wow, thanks, Dr. Beck. Those are some great stories. I love hearing those. It's probably my favorite part of the webinars, is to hear those stories about the programs. We just like to open it up. If anybody has any more questions, now is the time to ask those. If we don't get any more, Dr. Beck, do you have anything else you'd like to close with about the program? Okay, we do
Hello,
have
I
a program.
have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
My papers, all my documents are in Spanish, so do I have to translate them to apply for the program, or how does that work?
That's a great question. Yes. And in order to apply, I believe applications are in English. And as well as when you're in classes, the classes right now are only in English. So everything is 100% asynchronous. So you won't be attending an actual live class. You might attend a video, or you might watch a video, which will have a transcript in English, and you can take that transcript and you can run it through Google Translate, which I actually have many of my students do. And then they are actually able to complete it. I actually have a student right now who's Portuguese, and he speaks fluent Portuguese. He speaks pretty good English, but just for increased understanding, he always runs these transcripts and all of his readings and assignments through Google Translate or another translating tool in order to read it in his own language.
No, but for the application, my documents from university are in Spanish. That means my certificates and those great documents are in Spanish. So to apply to the program, do I need to translate them to prove that I have the degree?
Will, do you know?
I would have to reach out to the treasurer's office and ask them. I can do that. I'll follow up with you, Cecilia, and
Thank you.
get that information to you.
I will say that
Thank you.
whenever I'm looking at applications online, I often see students with a transcript that's in a different language. And so they've not translated it, and those students still get in. So I don't think it's probably not needed, but it's probably good to check to be sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question. If we don't have any more questions, Dr. Beck, is there something, a final remark about the program that you'd like to make before we close?
Yes. I mean, I've been with the program since 2010. So, and when I came in, I was as green as anything. And I had taught online before, of course, I had some experience, but I wasn't as familiar with higher ed, I guess you could say. And one of the things I've learned is that the program is only as good as its teachers. And right now we have two really good teachers at full time. We have a relatively small program. We have probably about 40 to 50 students on a regular basis, but we're growing. We 2 years ago, we had 20 students on a regular basis. And so we're growing and doubling in size within a couple years. And we're bringing on more faculty. And we really want to focus on high quality instructors. Because no matter what we're teaching, then the student, are always going to get the best of instruction. And what does that mean? You're going to come out with the best of skills, and you're going to be able to clobber that job market and get what you want out of it. So.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Beck. And we also want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your questions. We really appreciate those. And remember, our contact information is on this, and we'll have this recording. We'll get that sent out to you as well. And we also just want to make sure that you become Arkansas Razorbacks and get your name on that senior walk. We thank you for joining us today.